We all think we know Donald Trump, the president, the reality TV star. But what about the man before all of that? Long before The Apprentice or the White House, a very different Donald Trump was making headlines in New York. And some of those early stories, the ones that truly shaped him, have been almost completely forgotten. These aren't just bits of trivia. They're the foundation for everything that came later. So today, we're digging up 5 stories from his past that you probably never heard in history class. The empire's shadowy start. So where did it all begin? Not with glittering skyscrapers, but with middle-class apartments in New York, working for his dad, Fred. But his career barely started before it was hit with a major scandal. In 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice slapped a lawsuit on Donald Trump, his father, and their company for racial discrimination. The government claimed they had a system for refusing to rent to black people. In fact, testimony during the investigation alleged that applications from black apartment seekers were marked with a C for colored. While the Trumps settled the case without admitting they did anything wrong, they had to agree to stop discriminating and even had to send a weekly list of their empty apartments to the New York Urban League. The government itself called it one of the most far-reaching settlements ever made. It was Donald Trump's grand entrance into the public eye, and it started with a federal investigation into racial bias. The myth of the Midas touch. Donald Trump's brand is built on one idea: success. But his big adventure in Atlantic City tells a different story. While he's never filed for personal bankruptcy, his hotel and casino businesses were a whole other matter, filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection multiple times between 1991 and 2009. The famous Trump Taj Mahal, which was financed with risky high-interest junk bonds, went bankrupt just a year after its grand opening. The Trump Plaza Hotel and his other casino resorts weren't far behind. These corporate bankruptcies let the companies escape massive debt, but it was often investors and contractors who paid the price. One lawsuit even claimed that after the company encouraged employees to pour their retirement savings into company stock, its collapse wiped out over $2 million from more than 400 workers' retirement accounts. Trump himself often walked away personally protected, but his casino empire consistently struggled, losing more money and jobs than its competitors in Atlantic City. The man of many names. Now, this next one sounds like it's straight out of a movie. Back in the 80s and 90s, New York reporters would get calls from a PR guy for the Trump organization named John Barron, or sometimes John Miller. This mystery spokesman would just rave about Donald Trump. How rich he was, how successful he was, how much women loved him. The catch: John Barron wasn't real. It was an open secret that it was Trump himself, putting on a voice to plant positive stories about himself in the press. In one wild call from 1991, John Miller gave a reporter a super detailed interview about Trump's split from his first wife, Ivana, and his new relationship with Marla Maples. Eventually, in a 1990 lawsuit, Trump had to admit under oath that, he had used the name John Barron on occasion. This bizarre habit of being his own fake hype man shows he was mastering media manipulation long before he ever got into politics. A divorce that shook New York. When Donald and Ivana Trump split up in 1990, it wasn't just a private divorce. It was a public spectacle that took over the tabloids for months. The whole thing was kicked off by Donald's affair with model Marla Maples, which led to a now famous showdown between the two women on a ski slope in Aspen. The divorce got ugly fast. In court documents, Ivana had accused Donald of what she called rape, though she later clarified in a statement that she didn't mean it in a criminal sense. The divorce was ultimately granted on the standard legal grounds of cruel and inhuman treatment, which was common in New York divorce filings at the time. The scandal became a defining moment of 90s celebrity culture, giving everyone a peek into the messy reality behind the golden couple's facade. A few years later, in 1993, Trump and Maples got married, just a couple of months after their daughter, Tiffany, was born. The war over the family fortune. You'd think the Trump family would project an image of unbreakable loyalty, right? Well, a lawsuit from Donald's own niece, Mary Trump, blew that idea to pieces. In 2020, Mary sued Donald and his siblings, claiming they committed fraud to cheat her out of tens of millions of dollars of her inheritance. Her lawsuit alleged that after her father, Fred Trump Jr., died back in 1981, her aunt and uncles were supposed to look out for her, but instead secretly siphoned away her money and devalued her share of the family real estate empire. The lawsuit even described what it called unfathomable cruelty, claiming the family cut off health insurance for her sick nephew to pressure them during a dispute. The case was eventually dismissed because of a previous agreement Mary had signed, but the allegations painted a shocking picture of a family at war over its fortune. CTA. And that's just scratching the surface. These are the kinds of stories that get buried over time, but are crucial to understanding the bigger picture. If you want more deep dives like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Conclusion. So, from federal lawsuits and fake spokesmen to casino failures and bitter family feuds, the story of Donald Trump before the presidency is a lot more chaotic than most people realize. These 5 secrets aren't just random bumps in the road. They're the building blocks of the public figure we know today. They show a pattern of fighting back, controlling the story, and protecting the brand at all costs. It turns out, the past is never that far behind.